My name is Bhante Buddharakkhita, the founder of Uganda Buddhist Center in Uganda. Today I would like to give a talk on the role of ethics in removing the three poisons, greed, hatred, and illusion, and achieving freedom. Most of us were struggling with meditation, try to be mindful, try to concentrate, and cultivate virtues that we hope that are going to help us in our life. But what I say again and again, people keep on forgetting the foundation of the practice, including the foundation of mindfulness and concentration, which is ethics. Ethics can be defined as rules or conduct or the way of life, and also can be defined as human values that determines the difference between what's wholesome and unwholesome, skillful and unskillful, or universal goodness and universal badness. Taken that way, ethics is not just mere rules to tick off that, okay, I'm taking 5 precepts or 5 commandments, or 10 commandments, or whatever rules you are keeping, but it's a way of life. And also it's a human value, the way how to gauge human behavior, whether they are righteousness or not. So I would like to start with how we can, of course, observe the 5 precepts. And this reminds me of the Buddha's teaching. The Buddha said that abstain from evil, do what's good, and purify the mind. And in fact, this is given in the book on the way of life, of living a skillful life. The book is called Dhammapada, where they say that all the Buddhas, that's what they teach. Avoid from evil, doing what's good, and purify the mind. This is probably the same as cultivating a land. When we want to plant a seed, we have to cultivate a land, remove the weeds, and we have to till the land. And after tilling the land, we might even put fertilizers, and then the land is ready to put the seed. We don't just throw seeds in a forest simply because we need the seed to germinate. So we need to do the work. You need to do the hard work, basically. So we start with observing the 5 precepts, which is a standard for anybody who's wanting to live a peaceful life, the Buddhist way of life. So we keep the 5 precepts. Abstain from killing or harming other living beings. Abstaining from taking what's not given. Abstaining from sexual misconduct. The 4th is abstaining from telling lies. The 5th, abstaining from taking intoxicants and drugs that lead to heedlessness. This is like basically removing the weeds from the land, avoiding evil. And that's a practice in itself, which actually defines what ethics are. But that's not enough. We need also to go to the second stage, where we have to till the land, put more fertilizers in the land. We have to look at what are the opposites of these 5 rules. They are not just rules like thou shalt not park in a parking spot of others. They're just not rules to really make us morbid in our life and we start worrying about them and how whether we can observe 5 or 2 or half or quarter. Really, they're principles that brings us happiness for oneself, happiness for others, and happiness for the society, happiness for the environment. So any sane society that needs to really observe peace and happiness should actually commit themselves to taking these 5 precepts at the minimum. There are so many, of course, this is the minimum. requirement. Let's go to the second stage. Do what's good. After finishing avoiding evil, we want to say what's good. Do what's good. So what's good is, of course, the first precept, abstain from killing. The opposite of that is to protect, preserve, conserve life. We have to practice loving kindness. We have to practice compassion. Because we cannot have compassion for living beings and at the same time kill them, hurt them, torture them. That would be contradictory, So you can see how this precept is very, very important, not only for oneself, but for others and for the society, for both. So we practice loving kindness, we practice compassion. Then the second precept, abstain from taking what's not given. It's not just taking this precept and just go and sleep, I'm not taking what's not given. No, it requires us to do some work. So the opposite of taking what's not given is generosity. See if you can be generous of your time, generous of your energy, generous of your attention. You give attention to people who needs it. Generous with your material things, giving food. Generous with your space. I know most of us, we are not generous with our space. When people come in our space, we feel invaded. We don't want to share our space with others. So this is a practice that we can actually do. Not only abstain from taking what's not given, but actually practice generosity. We can practice also gratitude. Gratitude for being alive. Gratitude for others being present in your life. We can be thankful. Then contentment also is part of the practice. Being contented with what's within one's means. Being contented with what's suitable for your consumption. Being contented with what's available. So you can see the practice go beyond simply abstaining from taking what's not given. We need to practice contentment. We need to practice gratitude. We need to practice generosity. Then the third precept, abstain from committing sexual misconduct. That's not what you should not do. But what should you do? We should do practice, of course, mindfulness of the six senses. At the moment of seeing, we become aware of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, thinking. All the six senses are involved in this case. So this means being diligent, being vigilant when you are seeing something or hearing or tasting or touching. So we control our six senses so that they are no longer abused or misused. This is a practice that actually helps us to be happy and peaceful. Otherwise, we are going to see something and say, I don't like it. And then we are going to develop anger. On the other side, we see something and then we become not mindful, and then sometimes when there's likes and pleasant feeling, then we get attached to it. And if we don't know, we get confused. But the practice of mindfulness of six senses can help us to just be at peace with all the sensory inputs. That's a very powerful practice. Then the fourth precept, abstain from telling lies. I don't think that most of you are telling lies. I don't think so. But the precept requires us to really be honest with ourselves, to be truthful for ourselves and others, to be trustworthy. people around you, they will be more peaceful and comfortable when you are telling the truth. In fact, there's a machine at the immigration that can test whether you're telling a lie or not. You know what it measures? It measures the level of stress you go through when you're telling something which is not the truth. So, if you want to live a stress-free life, you commit yourself to the truth, telling the truth. Even there's this saying that the ability to tell a lie is a liability. The ability to tell a lie is a liability. You see, when we tell a lie, fear arises, anxiety, that people are going to find us, and when people find us, then we have to make another lie in order to cover another lie. And we must have a good memory, actually, to remember all the lies, so that next time people are checking in with us, then we can remember. So you can start a lot of suffering for people who don't tell the truth. So to be truthful, that brings a lot of peace and happiness. Truthfulness is a source of health and wealth. The fifth precept is abstain from taking intoxicants and drugs that leads to heedlessness. Again, this is not just abstaining but also performance. What are we going to do? If we are not taking drugs and alcohol that leads to heedlessness, what are we doing? Of course, we stay sober and we become mindful again, so that we are vigilant every moment to moment, instead of being really confused. In fact, we can cultivate wisdom and understanding when the mind is clear. When we are drunk or under the influence of drugs, we cannot do even wholesome things. We cannot even think what wholesome things we should do. And we cannot even tell the difference between what's unwholesome and wholesome. So this is very, very important in terms of cultivating the land, in terms of leading peace. But that's not enough. You remember the analogy of clearing the land and removing weeds? And then the next step was to just cultivate the land and put fertilizers to make it ready for the seed. So now we have to go to the third dimension of Buddha's teaching, which means purifying your mind. In this case, what we do, we have to practice mindfulness, which is the seed for happiness. We need to reflect along with our ethical conduct. The Pali word is called Sila Anusati, means reflecting or being mindful along with your virtues. Mindfulness along your virtues. So we actually do a lot of good things, but we don't take time to be mindful of what we are doing in the past. And when we go to meditate, we always close our legs and then start breathing in, breathing out, because we heard about mindfulness is breathing in, breathing out. We are not balloons, are we? We are not balloons where we just put in air and air out. We are human beings, full of emotions, full of life, full of thoughts, full of feelings. Can we actually take time to reflect on good things that we have done? Instead of looking just on the things that we have not cultivated, how about just reflecting on the good things you have done, even when you've done something 10 minutes ago? This is not the time to make a big inventory, moral inventory about your life. Let's say 5 years when you killed something, 2 years when you took a chocolate belonging to somebody, when you took something, maybe a pen from the office. This is not the time to reflect on things that you did wrong. This is the time actually to reflect on what you are doing good, what good you are doing. This can even be like the last 10 minutes. You took the 5 precepts. It can be even last minute. You boil it down even to few seconds. You can say, for the last 30 seconds, I haven't killed. I haven't stolen anything. I haven't committed sexual misconduct. I haven't told a lie. I haven't drunk anything. And then when you do that, it's amazing that naturally you will be free from remorse. And to the Buddha, freedom from remorse sets off many virtues, many mental states that brings a lot of happiness and purify the mind. Immediately, this kind of reflection of having cultivated compassion, loving kindness, generosity, contentment, brings what we call gladness. The Pali word is called pamoja, gladness. You are glad that you are giving a wonderful gift to all beings. What's that gift? That's a gift of fearlessness. Even the Buddha said that one who observes the 5 precepts gives the gift of fearlessness to all beings. Me as a monk from Africa, I'm trying my best to build a temple in Uganda, and now I'm going to Rwanda. I can build all temples in Africa, but really protecting all human beings is way beyond what I can do. So observing the 5 precepts is very powerful. Now, when I look at this reflection of having done good things, I think this is the way how we should start our meditation, by reflecting on good things we are doing before we start on things we don't do. You can sit down and take a deep breath and relax and just reflect on the good virtues that you've cultivated for the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That should bring freedom from remorse. Freedom from remorse brings what we call joy or gladness. Then from gladness, one gets what we call pasadi, which is calmness, tranquility. One gets also piti, which is joy. From piti, one gets happiness. From happiness, one can gain concentration. Because the Buddha said a happy mind gains concentration easily. And once the mind is concentrated, then it's no longer having mental defilements like restlessness, worry of having done good, missed good things and done bad things, what we call omission and commission. We get free from many mental defilements. And when the mind is concentrated, the Buddha said a concentrated mind sees things as they really are. A concentrated mind sees things as they really are. So you can see clearly what are the processes, mind and body processes, emotions rising and passing away. So you have planted a seed in a fertile soil, which is free from weeds. You have planted the seed for happiness, for peace. All these virtues, positive virtues, come along when you start purifying the mind. And this comes simply by being mindful of what you've done. No things that you haven't done. You all can sit down and do this reflection. So in the next 3 minutes, I'd like you to sit down comfortably. You feel at ease. Take a few deep breaths and relax. Let it go of the past and the future. I'd like you to bring your mind to some of the qualities you like about yourself. Maybe you've been very kind and peaceful. That should bring joy that you've been kind to yourself. And now I'd like you to bring your mind to some of the good qualities that you cultivate when you take 5 precepts. I know you take 5 precepts every day. You observe ethics. As I told you, ethics is has 3 dimensions. One is the rules, the 5 precepts you take, vows, and also the way of life, and also the distinction between what's bad and good. So you can now observe that you don't kill. Even if you killed something a long time ago, 1 year ago, for the last 5 minutes you haven't killed. You've been generous. You've been very kind. You've practiced truthfulness. You're vigilant. You're mindful. And then see if you can let go the burden whenever the memory comes of having transgressed some of the precepts. When you reflect like this, you can be happy, you can be peaceful, you can purify the mind. So may you be well, happy and peaceful. May you be able to purify your mind through avoiding evil, doing what's good, and purify the mind. Thank you very much.